Welcome to another episode of the Lux Saigon podcast. This time I'm joined by my bro Vito Costa, one of my childhood friends that I've known since 3rd grade. Before this episode, we hadn't actually had a conversation for about 5 years, so it's pretty cool that this chat got recorded. It's pretty amazing to me that the insights that Vito has gained in therapy match the insights that have been revealed to us by practicing spirituality. And in this context, spirituality would mean unlearning the conditioning taught to us until we start to question what consciousness itself is. I know I still have plenty of unlearning to do. There is still some deep stuff buried in my subconscious that occasionally triggers me to be toxic towards myself and people that I care about. But I'm trying my best, damn it, so I have to remember to give myself credit for that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with my bro Vito, and see you on the other side. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Lux Saigon podcast. I'm here with my bro Vito. I know him since we're like 8 years old or something.
Yeah, no, we met in 3rd grade. And then just reconnected like 18 or so. So yeah, it's been yeah, definitely very been a while, bro. Been a
Dude,
while.
we'll get right into that. Just before we start, I want to give a shout out to Nutri-Nut. They have their new macadamia nuts out right now. 100% organic. If you want to taste some nuts in your mouth, you know where to go. And lastly, PDD, which stands for pretty damn delicious. Yeah, this bag is empty because we ate all the cake. It was carrot cake and banana cake. Yeah, dude, are you in Florida right now?
Yeah, in Tallahassee.
I have this right now.
Nice.
My
Yeah,
Florida little Florida cup.
yeah, it's definitely now being a Florida resident and actually living here. It's definitely something. I'm definitely getting all the getting all the memes and all the hype. The Florida man, like whether yeah,
Wait, how long have
it's
you lived
definitely an experience.
in Tallahassee?
So I mean, yeah, I've been in Tallahassee just straight up like back in the States, like for a yeah, it's been about a year now.
A year, true,
Exactly,
true.
yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
let's start from the very beginning. How do we meet?
How did we meet? So how did we meet? Dude, fucking 3rd grade, man. Like
3rd grade.
literally the 3rd grade, man. Yeah, I still remember yeah. I still remember those day be yeah, be having a like my sleepover birthday party, 10 years old, your mom not letting you sleep over.
Dude, yeah, I was the only kid who couldn't sleep over, right?
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
think
why
so.
can't I sleep over?
Yeah, man. Then yeah, I guess fast forward to what, like 8 years later,
Just
we're
randomly, oh, dude, I just
just
remembered. I went to like some like Catholic church. Was it confirmation training or something like that?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, confirmation training. Actually, you mentioned that. I think
And
that's
the
what it was. Yeah.
like the
Yeah, you
funny
just
thing
went to
was,
my church by accident. Yeah.
yeah, and also I went to the wrong confirmation thing. Like mine was supposed to be the next year, and for some reason my mom thought it was that other year. So like I met you totally by coincidence.
Okay, so but it was at that church, right?
It was that church. What was it?
Okay, yeah.
Saint Timothy or something, or I forget what it is.
Yeah, I forget. I actually forget my church was St. Timothy's. I don't know. Yeah, hazy on the details, but yeah, pretty like long story short, we just yeah met back up by like pure coincidence.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, do you remember when we played in a band?
Yeah, two bands.
What was the second one? I'm like, for sure I know that's what she said.
Yeah. No, well, I know the second one like for a while like I joined up in Upper 90. I
Up for
joined up for
90. Oh, you
90
were
for
there too.
Army.
True, you were there too.
Yeah. I joined up for a while. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, there's some honestly, bro, yeah. At the end of the day, some of my fondest memories, bro, are from back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
performed like we even performed outside of the state, right? We went to Maryland and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember we I don't know if we got to go, but yeah, I'm supposed to play in Atlantic City, I think.
Mm. Yeah, we tried. We tried. I think
Yeah.
yeah, it was really fun while it lasted.
Yeah, definitely again, yeah.
Did
Very
we
very stolen memories, bro.
both go to Nova?
I went to Nova, yeah, for a short while. Did you?
I went to Nova too. I went to like I think almost every campus except for Woodbridge. Because like I changed majors 2 times and I didn't know what the hell to study. So I kind of just
Yeah,
wasted
it
a lot of
was
time.
same here, pretty much. Yeah, that was just after my year at ODU. After I came back home, I tried, yeah, taking some classes at Nova, and yeah, again, it just, yeah, well, like pretty much like you, I just had no idea what I wanted to do, and I felt like it was a bit of wasted time. But yeah, I spent most of my time, I think, in the on the Annandale campus.
Mm.
Annandale, right? Yeah, yeah,
Annandale, yeah. Yeah, that's true. And then eventually you move back to Peru, right?
yeah. Moved back to Peru at I think 2013, and yeah, I came back here 2022. So yeah, spent nine whole
Whoa.
years over there in Peru, man.
Holy crap. And
Yeah.
how many years were you in Lima?
In Lima, I would say I was there about 7 to 8 years. Yeah, 7 years, I would
Whoa.
say. Yeah,
That's a long time, dude.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. But honestly, looking back, like even though honestly, as a city, I'm not a huge fan of Lima, just because I'm just not a huge fan of big urban cities in general, like
Mm,
just to live in. But yeah, too much commotion. But definitely just living in Peru, like in general, and just it's I mean just yeah, obviously, me being half Peruvian, like it just definitely great fucking experience, man. Like being able to especially when I was running my my backpacker hostel over there, got to meet people from all over the world. So in
true.
general, it was just yeah, I definitely one of the best experiences of my life. Looking back, always will be looking back. Was yeah, just literally just spending 9 years of my life in another country, specifically
Yeah,
in like the in my mother's country, which
true.
is dope.
And running a hostel, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, was there. And got started working for this dude over there. After a few years, he decided he wanted to open up another hostel, so he sold me and my family the business. Yeah, I was running it for a while, and yeah, we're doing that for a few years until obviously COVID hit, and then tourism just went to shit. Obviously, that
Mm,
we had to close down after a few months. That was when we moved to the country with my so my dad had his business going. He had like 20 acres out in the country that he was developing into a just a like a country condominium, just selling lots of land. And yeah, that's what we were working for the last few years. And yeah, we were headed, yeah, then we headed here.
wait, when you first moved to Peru, did you experience culture shock?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first moved to Peru, definitely. In detail, it was so long ago. So yeah, I mean, it was a few things that I can definitely remember. I do remember the first moment. I did get just straight up, like a just me being a tourist. Like
Mm,
I got in a taxi, knew it was a tourist right away. I I guess like I couldn't really, yeah, I'd only been there for like a few weeks, so I didn't know by memory where exactly my house was. We ended up taking
Mm,
some turns, and yeah, the dude just ended up taking me for like what, like 20 soles for a 5 minute cab ride, which is
mm,
what, like yeah. So yeah, definitely just like eventually I was able to get used to, that just the culture in general, and like what the other thing was in street food was a big was a big thing for me. It was definitely weird, but yet nice to to be in an environment with with just in general, all this stuff that you honestly don't see in the States unless you're in a like big urban city like DC or New
mm.
York.
Yeah. And even in like DC or New York, like the street food is like what, like hot dogs and I don't know, like I guess food trucks now. There's food trucks, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's not that it's bad, like at all. Like it's so great. I love hot dogs. One of my favorite, one of my favorite foods, honestly.
Mm,
But yeah, no, yeah. Obviously, you get down to Peru, you get the I don't know, like at least like street food. Well, I mean, as far as street foods for me, like my best memories are from when I was actually studying there in Miraflores, and yeah, there was this lady that had just the cart this cart of like I'm still convinced of some of the best empanadas in Lima.
mm,
Honestly, like yeah, so but yeah, and you get to downtown and you get to try like even more like authentic Peruvian street food. Like, you got the uh what I mean, I don't know how authentic like the papa rellena is. You
mm.
got the I remember we were trying the chocolate con queso also, so
Nice.
yeah,
I miss all that stuff.
yeah,
How was
yeah.
the dating scene in Lima?
Honestly, not that different from here, bro. Like there was still a
Really?
lot of yeah, there's still like Tinder was still big in use, like in even few dating apps in general. Like people still you know, people still went out on the weekends clubbing, obviously, and yeah, so in general, really like I I think honestly dating scene, yeah, really just like the only difference is, yeah, not really so much in country, but really, I guess like here would be like, difference would be like in, just areas. Like I guess in the city, it's got to be a bit different, because
Mm,
there's more commotion. Of I remember for me at least, it was a lot of obviously you didn't have my license, so it was a lot of Uber rides for
mm.
sure. Um,
I have this memory of
yeah.
you and I in a club in Lima that like you were leaving the club and I went after you to see why you were leaving, and then like when we opened the door, the sun was coming up. And I remember like seeing the sun come up and looking back and seeing the club still like 100% like popping, and I was like, yeah, let's go home.
Yeah.
it's it's
No,
so it's
not
so late, it's early.
it is coming back to me. No, there was one night, yeah, that yeah, you were there and we did go out and we just straight up stayed out until like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so tell me, how did you meet like then your future girlfriend in Peru?
So, yeah, so yeah, I guess from the beginning it would be honestly Tinder. Yes, Tinder is
True,
how we officially met. Yeah.
true,
And
true.
yeah, we just honestly, we were like, I guess we were like casual, like friends for like a year until we like became official, and yeah, then we yeah, I guess we just started officially dating, how it goes,
Mm,
and yeah, just I guess really after that, yeah, because So I mean, the cool thing is we actually realized like we were working, we were both like working and studying like literally like 2 blocks away from each other.
Mm,
So yeah, and so but yeah, I guess yeah, now that I'm remembering correctly, I guess like after a few years, yeah, I started working at the hostel actually, and um, yeah, and bought the business, took over, and yeah, I guess officially, I had at that point, I asked her if she wanted to move in together because her lease was up, like in her uh up in her apartment at the time. So yeah, I
mm,
guess we just decided like, we and she was looking for new like job opportunities. So yeah, it just seemed like a solid step. It made sense. Like just yeah, like definitely would be interesting working the hostel business. So she moved in with me. We managed that for a few years. Yeah, pretty much until COVID hit. And
mm,
yeah, by that time she like getting in pretty tight with my dad as well. So
mm,
yeah, she started working for him. Then I transitioned working for him also, and then we moved to just to his project. And yeah, and then she got a yeah, and then we spent like what, like 3 fucking years because of COVID trying to get her visa. Like
mm,
it should have took so much less time, but yeah, it is
mm,
what it is. Honestly. So, but yeah, we were finally able to get it. Actually after just hounding the embassy like for
mm.
for I don't know how long, and yeah, finally got it. And yeah, we did move down here to Tallahassee, just to my parents were living here at the time, well, are still living here. So yeah, stayed with them until we were able to get our start. Both got some stable jobs. I'm actually on my second job now, like since I've been here in Tallahassee. But yeah, got our start here. Got pretty decent decent apartment here, and yeah, now we're settled here in Tallahassee, and now here we are.
Sick, sick. Like, at what point did you like realize like I want to marry this person?
So it was weird, honestly. So yeah, I mean, as far as the marriage wise, it wasn't really that like so like as far as my like yeah, just like my feelings, like I can definitely remember like the I mean, so me like honestly falling in love, like really realizing I was in love with her was actually pretty quickly, bro, because I mean yeah, really my relationship with her was very different from any previous relationship I've ever had. Like I had found someone who actually did push me and actually did like want like the best for me, and really did like believe in me. So
Mm,
really just like realizing like I was in love with this person was yeah, it happened pretty quickly. Well, like I would say within a few months into our official relationship. And yeah, as far as the marriage, like there was some marriage for us. It was one of those situations where it was there were a few reasons where it seemed like smart to get married, and at the same time we knew we loved each other and we knew we were going to get married, and we knew we had already talked about starting a family, and we just knew we wanted to spend our lives with each other, like
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm,
that was clear. So obviously getting married, like it was like like if it happens now or like in a little bit, it was it was still the right decision for us either way because we knew it was
mm,
going to happen. um but yeah, at the moment it was really because well, it was two big reasons. So yeah, one, the visa purposes, because at that time we really just decided we did want first start we kind of wanted to get the fuck out of Peru.
Mm,
Um and yeah, and two, actually my one of my best friends was getting married in yeah, in the States. So we thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool, like, just if your visa get if at least tourist visa at least gets approved and we're able to go to his wedding, because yeah. But yeah, only so we, the marriage was, was just, like legal, just civil. We went down to I guess, yeah, the equivalent of city hall, municipalidad over there,
mm,
and yeah, well, I mean, we did have a nice ceremony, and yeah, our families did. We did have a nice, I guess, little reception, at a nearby hotel with all our families. So it was very nice, definitely.
mm,
But yeah, definitely. Yeah, after that, really, it was just yeah, just getting our lives, like, yeah, just starting a life together. Yeah.
mm,
Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, as far as marriage goes, the one thing I will say is, like, well, like, not really like just marriage, but a committed relationship, like, it definitely, one thing that should have hit me like earlier is, like the amount of work and effort it does take, and because it really, at the end of the day, it really is like a 50-50. You are like literally sharing your life with another person. And the one thing I've realized is that like this, there's always a negative connotation when you say this, but it really is like a certain, like, when you get down to it, a basic level of codependence. Not necessarily that it's a bad way, but
mm,
in a certain way, you are dependent on each other, in at least in that way, that you are like, on a certain level you do, I feel like on a certain level in relationships, you are at least just a little bit, you have to be just a little bit responsible for the other person's happiness, at least in the way relationships are now. Because, it really is like, you are, that's what making sacrifices for the other person is, literally. And, you
mm.
just wanting the other person to be happy, and, like, yeah, I feel like, at least the way relationships are now, that's the way it needs to be to really work.
But how,
Just
like, how are they different now to how they were in the past?
I feel like back then, at least previous generations, are like, I would say, well, generations before us, Gen X, the boomers, like back then, it was just. So I feel the main difference between here and now is that, just in general, is our societal, like, standards and expectations have just heightened. Like, we were, back then, it was just, we were willing to people were, I guess not we, but people were willing to, more willing to, just accept life as it is, accept their general, like, roles that society had put upon them in life, and
Mm,
therefore they were more willing to accept their roles in relationships, and for lack of a better word, just settle. But
mm,
yeah, you know um that's not the way it is now. Now, a lot of us, a lot of people, we do, a lot of people have started, uh I guess, started knowing their, realizing their our worth as human beings a little more. And whether that's a good or a bad thing, I leave open to interpretation. It definitely has its good and its bads, but essentially, I think that's what it is that, people just have, just have much higher standards now, and expectations for what they want to be happy. And
mm,
and yeah, so now that translates directly into into the dating world, into the marriage world. And so yeah, that's I think ultimately that's what it is. So, and being that it is what it is, like you just we do have to, if you do want a part of that, you do have to adapt to the way it is now. And ultimately I think if you do really love a person, it's not really that hard, because really you're gonna want that. What you're gonna want is that person's happiness. So
Mm.
yeah,
I mean, what
yeah.
if she's a,
I just
like what if she's a serial killer?
I mean, yeah, then you're going to the hypothetical extremes, man. Like, yeah, I mean, but ultimately, bro, at the end of the day, love is love. If you have a connection, like, because yeah, you could say, what if you're both serial killers? What if you're both
Right.
fucking criminals, like
It
Selma
could
and
work out, right?
Louise, bro? Like Bonnie and Clyde, man. Like, yeah,
I'll hold them down for
yeah,
you, baby. You go for it.
yeah. Yeah, now I'm thinking like literally that shit's been real. There have literally been like couple murderers like out there that this is what we do. This is our date night, baby. Like just kidnap someone and just go wild. Yeah.
Wow, that
But
they made it
yeah.
they made
Yeah,
it
dude.
into a romantic moment. Wait, so like what would you say are like the pros and cons of marriage in your opinion?
Pros and cons of marriage. See, so now you're saying that, and now I'm thinking that it's all about perspective, actually, because
Mm,
and I'm thinking of the whole like, because definitely one thing is sacrifice, like sacrificing for um yeah, like just I mean, I guess if I were to say like just a specific scenario, and let's say like like it would sometimes be sacrificing like your time. Say you just really wanted to really were looking forward to spending like an evening with yourself.
mm,
Um, but yeah, but your partner is, you know, well, she may be feeling like down, or just feeling like in general, like they want to, like they just want to go out and do something.
mm,
And yeah, say they are feeling down, and obviously in that situation, like feeling, them going out and having a good night on the out on the town, I guess, would make them feel a lot better. And that's a situation where you were thinking, oh, for me, I really wanted to just spend some time by myself, like just reading, gaming, whatever.
mm,
Um, and but like here's my partner. She's they're not feeling they're not feeling like super well, and obviously going out will make them feel better, so and make them happy. So it's that situation now. So that's it's open to interpretation. I don't know, some people might put that in a con column, some people might
mm,
that put that in a pro, because in a pro, because it does feel good making your partner happy. So
mm,
could definitely feel like a con, like in the moment, but in the long run, yeah. So it really is, when people also say, I don't know if I mean, you have heard that expression in relationships and just in general, you got to pick your battles,
mm,
um,
mm, mm,
in that sense, because yeah, in the moment you'll feel like, oh my God, this is such a hassle, but yeah, at least in the long run, for me at least, it was it felt good, at least, knowing that I could make this person happy that I really love.
mm,
So yeah, that's ultimately what it is. So like I would say it's similar to, like the steps you would take to like when you take the plunge into having children. Also, like ultimately these are like you are just choosing to share your life with somebody, and it is what it is. You're not really living by yourself anymore. Like
Mm,
you are spending your life with someone else. So um that's I would say, like, when you know making the decision to really deciding you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, just always keep that in mind, that you are making the decision ultimately um to yeah, just share your life with someone, spend your life with them, and that includes, like, free time, like the majority of your free time, at least, like spending with the other person, and like ultimately enjoy spending with the other person, finding things you guys like doing together.
mm,
I think a big thing, which again is again, going back to the sacrifice, is learning to like uh learning to like the other person's interests as well. And yeah, so ultimately, bro, in terms of pros and cons, um, just really, as I'm talking about it, I realize it all goes in together. Like I said, it really just it's open to interpretation, like really what you would view as a pro and a con.
mm.
Yeah, you know what? Like, just straight up being real and just honest. I would say, like, and this I would say is a con, just straight up just how it sounds. You are sacrificing your freedom. Ultimately, it's just the way it
Mm,
is. Now, but for a lot of people, that is a good thing, though, because
true.
like, that turns into a good thing, because they want to they want to share their life with someone else. Now, the issue is that a lot of people do get into relationships, like, no, not really realizing that they are going to have to sacrifice a level of freedom. And these are people that ultimately they do enjoy their freedom more than anything else. And
Mm,
what happens is that they realize that afterwards, and yeah, and then like, you know people only that's how relationships end, and people get hurt because only one person wasn't really ready for what that commitment entailed. So yeah, I mean, if I could just give, like, one advice, like, just before taking that plunge, like, not even just relationships, but even having children, um, just really, really take a second to think about, like, everything it entails, and really just think about, like, actually, honestly, making a pros and cons list. It always helps, actually.
mm,
Um, Making a pros and cons list for you, because it could differ for other people, and
true.
really think about it. If it's something that you're really willing to do, you're willing to take all the sacrifices that come in with it, and know that eventually it will make you happy. Then by all means, take that plunge to get married, to have children.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, and if you do realize that you are more comfortable with your freedom being on your own, then you ultimately you have to be happy, and learn to be secure enough to learn to be on your own,
mm,
and just learn to take comfort in and being with yourself. Because I feel that's another reason, like, so many people hastily get into relationships, is because they personally, it's a fear of them being alone. They feel like they need to be in a relationship. They need to have that relationship, that bond with somebody to feel validated.
that was me for a long time, dude.
Me too, for so long, bro. But and at least I've realized, I hope you've definitely realized too, that is not good. See, it's
Dude, like it's like my mind is like stuck in this thing that's like I don't know how to explain, almost like a rat race. And this is related to the topic of happiness. Like my mind will think like I can only be happy if I find the right partner, right? And it's like that right person just happens to always be out of reach. So like whenever I my mind thinks like, oh, I found it, then it's like, oh no, I think it's not this, it's someone else. And so then I go over there to check that out. It's like, no, it's not this, it's actually somewhere else. And then it just keeps me in this like wild goose chase that like I have to keep reminding myself to like snap out of it, but it takes like so much conscious effort because like I've been just behaving on autopilot.
Exactly. It's funny that you mentioned that now. So now I'm realizing, what the issue is that back then, a lot of people, the mistake we were making is trying to force it and try so hard to actually look for love because we were desperate to find it, desperate to find that right partner. And
Mm,
because of that, we were building it so much up in our heads. And when we found it, we were just the first thing we would do is just, at least, I'm speaking for myself, like at least
mm,
first thing I would do, at least just immediately just, oh, get just get my I don't get my hopes up and just immediately just think, oh, like I'm gonna be with this person forever and it's gonna be awesome, like I found the one.
mm.
And yeah, that blocks you from really from really thinking about, like what what the realities of the relationship you really want to be in with this person.
Yeah, and
So
it's like when my
yeah.
mind would say something like that, like, oh, this is the one, I never thought about asking the one for what? The one for what exactly? The one for my happiness? The one for what? Like I just thought this is the one, but I never asked the one for what.
Yeah. And I was actually thinking about this the other day, like the one, that's just because the one, that word has just been implanted in all our brains by all the fucking romantic comedies, all the love songs, like
Yeah,
everything, that we're supposed to find the one, and we're
yeah.
gonna feel incomplete until we find like the one.
Dude, even
That's
in
what's gonna
Spanish,
bring us
right?
happiness.
Even in Spanish, they say like
El indicado.
el
Yeah.
indicado, or they say like tu media naranja, right? Like your other half. Wait, so like I have to find my other
Yeah.
half, so that implies that I'm incomplete, right? So like,
I'm incomplete, bro. Like, and like you literally just like I hadn't thought of that thought of it that way until you just mentioned it. But
and it's like all
literally,
of us,
that's
like
what it implies.
it's like all of us since we're children, we're like, I hope one day I'll find my other half, and we're like, we're just kids, and we're already conditioned to believe like I gotta go find my other half now.
Well, learn to fill your other half with yourself.
Right,
That's
right,
that's what life is about.
right.
Yeah.
Dang, I was gonna say something else too. Dang, I just had it. Ooh, ooh, it'll come back. Yeah, right. Something about the one. Like I was like in the search for the one or whatever, right? And I kept thinking I found the one, but I never like during that search I didn't realize I wasn't mature to be the one myself.
Yeah. And it wasn't just us. Like that's the thing I've realized, like since these past few months, like is that really it's ultimately uh it's about finding that security and that maturity in yourself. Like that's something that so many people need, and that's why so many like relationships like end unhappily. It's because really it's just one or both of those people, they're not like they're in a relationship for the wrong reasons. Like I mentioned before,
Mm,
it's due to their own insecurities, and really what they need to be, what they should have done before like being mature enough to be in a stable relationship, is learn to find that that self-fulfillment and self-love within themselves. Because really, all these, I've just been realizing all these fucking cliches and like these cliche uh like philosophies and shit. Like, for example, the one I'm thinking of right now, like you can't expect to love anyone else until you love yourself. But it's so true though. It's so
Dude.
true. Honestly, like the way I've like interpreted it recently is actually you can't really you can't really be fully capable of giving anything to anyone if you're not capable of doing it for yourself or giving it to yourself.
Right. Right, because like you can't give what you don't have, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, in that sense, yeah, 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 yeah.
It's like I wondered
Um,
like I was talking with a friend back home about yeah, some I don't know, like some conversation about life. And then we got to one of the cliches, right? And then he completely dismissed it. He was like, what do you mean enjoy the journey, not the destination? Come on, Nick. So then I was like thinking like, dude, who screwed up these like this wisdom for us? Because it's actual wisdom, but like somebody made it
it,
cheesy. Like somebody made it actually uncool. Who was that? Disney, Hallmark? Like who did it?
now you're mentioning it. I'm gonna try to get a little like deep here and say that actually the culprit is us. Like we fucking did it. I think with our own fucking insecure. Well, no, okay, so not even just us. Society, all of its society is implanted in our heads that has ultimately like programmed like so many insecurities like in us,
Mm.
and now and now we're just I guess created like just an I guess an inability to really believe that these little pieces of just super simple wisdom like are
Yeah,
actually like true and beneficial. Like we just think they're bullshit because like oh like it's cheesy, yeah, like you said, like but it's crazy now like when you actually realize like the truth behind them, like all of them literally they're all
dude.
true. I'm
Like what's trippy to me is like it's not only us that have been conditioned, it's like our parents, even our grandparents, right? So then like our parents accidentally helped us to get conditioned to whether it's like religion or even just like how to be happy, stuff like now we're like unlearning generations of conditioning. It's like taking actual effort in my life to uncondition myself.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. I mean, so in that aspect, actually, me personally, I felt like I did look out a little more because fortunately, I did my parents have always tried to be just, like very just very progressive and open-minded and it's
Mm.
of even outside of, like the conditioning that they received from their parents. But no, I absolutely like feel what you're saying, at least in terms of, like, I mean, religion is just huge, like that's just a big thing all over, like you're you essentially grow up like with the faith and religion that your parents have because like what else, like they're the ones teaching you everything, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So like it's funny because like we like you and I reconnected at a Catholic school, like confirmation retreat. Like, but like would you say that you're a Catholic today?
No, no, I haven't been a Catholic and I don't know how long, bro. Like for me, and again, like just because of the I guess just because of I guess not the stigma, but just kind of like the way it sounds like now when people say they're spiritual, like so I'm just like my views on faith and religion are like I think if you have faith, like in a higher power or in anything, it's great. It's fucking fantastic. Like I'm all about like having a just having that spiritual connection with yourself. And
Mm.
but Yeah, the only reason I don't subscribe to any religion is just really my only opposition like will ever be like with just just the church and the just organized institution of religion. Now I have known many people that that are very religious. And yeah, I guess my parents would be a few of them, not very religious, but they are, and that they are able to keep the religion in perspective and like actually like live a good life and be good people. So if you're able to do that, like great, fantastic. Yeah, I just think that a lot of like unfortunately a lot of people have been led astray by by their wrong interpretations of religion. So that's why I personally, just for reasons like that, I personally had rather not get just involved in just in that world specifically. But I absolutely think it's great to if you do have faith in something bigger than yourself, like that's great. Well,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, really, honestly, it's just I feel like it's very limiting just to not to really leave like like we're all there is out there and like that yeah just that there's really no possibility of anything like bigger out there.
Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, in short, like sure, I just have a very agnostic way of thinking, and I have for the past I don't know how many years. Like ultimately, I think it's great if you're open to the possibility of something bigger than yourself. I definitely am.
Mm.
And but yeah, really ultimately there's just when you think about like the fact that literally so many fucking wars have been started.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it's just
Or they've used it
yeah,
as an excuse, right? Like, oh, I'm going to attack you because of whatever religion,
yeah.
but it was probably something else.
Exactly. The fact that religion, something that, well, ultimately, I'm not saying it was created for this, but ultimately it is the whole purpose of like religion, at least the majority of religions isn't it to like be a good person, like ultimately, like and do good for others and yeah, so when you think about that, people have misconstrued that and it's resulted in violence, which is just the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's
Like,
the opposite.
yeah,
I remember like I guess when I was, I don't know, maybe like 13 and younger, maybe like I still thought I was, I guess, Catholic or whatever. And I felt I should love God and Jesus and stuff out of fear that if I don't, then I'm gonna like burn in hell for all eternity or something. I feel that now
yep.
that I'm not part of any religion, I can actually show like genuine like love and admiration for people like Jesus and Buddha and stuff, right? Like I can genuinely feel that now without any fear of like, oh yeah, I should love them or else
It,
I'll go to hell.
exactly. Yeah. No, you put it so well. Like, um, and yeah, now you mentioned that it's so weird now that when you yeah, because you literally like you would hear people like ask you like if you believe in God, some people would ask, oh, are you a God-fearing man?
Right,
Like,
right.
like yeah. Like yeah, and now when I real like just like you said, now like for example, when I realize like, oh, I'm doing something like nice for somebody, like it's literally it's just like it's happening naturally. I'm not thinking about like, oh, this is what someone else would want me to do, this is what God would want me to do or anything like. And only I think that's what it should be. Like really you should just get to a point where you're not even like good deeds, but just like any action you take in life should be because it's the right thing to do for you. And I unfortunately I think that with a lot of I guess more I don't want to say, I guess saying weaker-minded people, that sounds wrong, but like, for lack of a better term, um, like unfortunately it's led a lot of people to, um, not really be able to think for themselves and use religions for to think for them. Now, again, like there are a lot of people that I've met that like really just use religion as a lifestyle. Like for them, they go to church and it's good for
Mm.
them. It's a lifestyle. And
Yeah, yeah.
these people, they are actually able to, like I said, keep their religion and their faith in perspective and still be good people. So yeah, I
Mm.
mean, like I said, for those people that, have religion in their life, yeah, like uh, you know, all the best to them.
Yeah, true. I remember like in Catholic school in that same church where I met you. Uh that was the moment when I realized like, wait, this is not real. Like this religion is not real because like the person, well, it started with one thing. First, the teacher told us like, hey, in Spanish when people say adios, that means to God. And then I was like, I never thought about that. I don't know if that's true or not. No one ever mentioned that to me. Like my family speaks Spanish. Like no one ever mentioned that to me. So that's kind of fishy. Okay, a few like weeks go by and then the teacher says like you can't love other gods because God is jealous. Like God is a jealous God. And then I thought, wait, my dog Missy is also jealous. When other dogs come towards me, she would freak out and try to kill that dog. It's like so wait, so you're telling me that the all-powerful God and Missy have the same weakness? They have the same trigger? Like they're able to be jealous like that? And I thought this cannot be true. There's no way.
It's just, I think it's just, now you're mentioning it, it's making me think just in general. It feels like there's just a lot of inconsistencies. Like, for example, like when they say like God created us in his image, what does that mean?
Right. It looks like we created
Right?
God in our image. Or whoever made the religion be a trending religion, made the God look in his image because God is like and Jesus is always white in all of the pictures. He's always like the lighter skinned guy with green eyes
Yeah.
and light brown hair and rosy cheeks.
Then you find out, I mean, this dude was the like fucking well, again, I don't remember Sunday school, but Jerusalem was it? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, was from that part of the world. Like, I mean, and so yeah, like how, like, I mean, yeah, I mean, of course there were plenty of light-skinned people there at the time, but like, how could we know for sure? Like, honestly, they just made that decision, like in all the publications, bro. Like,
Yeah, it's like how come in all the pictures it's always like a bunch of brown people and Jesus is the white dude.
yeah. It's weird, yeah. Like, and yeah, these are these things that we don't even, like, I guess unless you like really like look into it and research it, we ultimately don't have the answer to. Like,
Mm.
it's just yeah, like I don't know. There's the just I guess a big reason is a big reason just I am against just just the whole like institution in general is because there's just a lot of like just shadiness and sketchiness, just way
Yeah,
too
yeah.
much, like within, like since just from the start. Like, fortunately, I do think there are like a few religions, like particularly from Somalia, that like Buddhism, for example, that you don't really see like anything like anything really wrong with it when you look into it. It's solid, good teachings, and like just interpreting, like everyone just seems to interpret them the right way. And yeah, so yeah, I guess like ultimately it's just yeah, it's really just about like the intention, the reasons like these religions were created. I do think like Christianity was like ultimately created for like with the motive of of pretty much all the things that led to just control ultimately when it control and manipulation when it comes down to it.
I mean, I heard that like before the Roman Empire absorbed the religion of let's say Christianity, that the popes had all been like poor people, like monks. They had just been like whatever, spiritual, humble people. But then when the Roman
Really,
Empire absorbed that religion and made it mainstream, then suddenly the Pope is now an emperor.
that is wild.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah, really like you think about it, how many differences are there between like what was there to keep like this religion just from becoming its own empire, honestly? I mean, dude, the fucking Vatican is its own city. It's governed under its own law.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a country. Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, it's a country, yeah. My bad. Yeah, obviously it's a city, but yeah, it's its own fucking country. Like that is insane to me. Like a city is a fucking country. Like,
uh kind of like Singapore, I guess.
yeah.
Yo,
But
so like in the year was it 2020? Yeah, I guess when COVID first started. I got I read this book called Teach Yourself Zen here in Vietnam, and it is kind of like triggered me, kind of freaked me out because it said something like what if the whole universe is you, right? It's like, oh, that's nice, cool. It's like, then who's Nick? And then I was like, oh damn it, that's actually a really scary thing to think about. And then, but I was like, no, but you know what? I'm curious enough to keep digging into this. And like for an entire year, I was in that rabbit hole, dude. For an entire year, just like researching whatever enlightenment and stuff. And I would research like every enlightened person in history that I could find. And I noticed patterns in all of them. And then when I researched Jesus, I see that his story has been so modified, dude, because every enlightened person's story is like they're born as a regular human. They whatever, they have their life as a regular person, and something in their life happens that triggers them to have like some kind of awakening moment, right? And then they're enlightened or whatever. In the story of Jesus, they claim that he's just an enlightened baby and he's just born already enlightened, right? Like he's born
but what
as
is that?
like in the story of Jesus, like he's born already as the son of God, supposedly. So like he's been enlightened from
Yeah,
like
right, yeah.
as a fetus.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because on now you're mentioning of it, it's like, what does it mean? What does that even mean? Like, really? Like, because yeah, I just feel like not. I mean, not even just modified, but just like glorified, like
Yeah, that's too. Yeah,
entirely.
yeah.
Yeah,
For the like modified for the purpose of being worshipped. Like,
yeah,
and the thing is like all of the enlightened masters, they'll be saying things like anything that I can do, you can also do. It's not that I'm special. Like, this is like what humans can do, right? But then okay, now when you look at Christianity, they'll say like only Jesus can get to this level, and you have to worship him. Whereas in Buddhism, they don't say that. They don't say like you have to worship Buddha because
yeah.
he's the chosen one, and you have to worship. Like no, they don't say that at all.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's very. I honestly didn't think of it like that. Yeah. That's wild. So yeah. I mean, I guess ultimately, like, there's a reason that I think Christianity is like is is the religion that like a lot of people are just starting to pull away from,
Mm.
honestly, because yeah.
And like
Now when you think about it like that.
to end my rant on Jesus, like I do believe he was an actual enlightened person.
Oh yeah.
But like it's so odd that for some reason his life from age like 8 to 32 or something is just completely missing. from the Bible. Like you only know about his birth and a little bit of his childhood, and then it skips to the end where he meets the disciples, but you don't know what happens in between. And I would guess that in between is where he had some trigger moment that woke him up. Just
Yeah,
guessing.
no, yeah, no, yeah, makes sense. The most logical explanation, obviously, yeah. But it's even crazy, like how they literally, yeah, obviously they just chose to leave all that out because it wasn't, I guess it wasn't relevant to the message they wanted to send.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Saying, this reminds me like supposedly like before the Buddha died, he said something like, "Don't make a religion out of this." And then he died, and like 300 years later,
really,
they did that. They made Buddhism.
really, really, that's awesome. That's insane. Oh, that's great. That honestly, I don't know why that makes me love Buddha even more now.
Because like if you come to Asia, like it seems like most of the true message of the Buddha has been lost. Like now people will like pray to him for good luck and stuff, right? Like they'll like pray to the altar for like good luck for them. They'll like give fruit and even snacks and even beer to, like stacks of beer like on that altar as like a donation for whatever, like for like the Buddha or for like their
Yeah,
ancestors and stuff. But the Buddha is talking about ego death. And
yeah,
if there's ego death, then by logic, if you're asking for good luck, it doesn't fit into the logic of ego death.
yeah, yeah, man, that is so fucking true.
Dude, and even if you go
Yeah,
to India, like we went to India for Lunar New Year, like
okay.
people are seeking really hard. Like people want to know what is reality. People want to worship like whoever they think is enlightened. People really some people are really seeking hard. And I know I was that person for a bit too. I was seeking to the point of burnout. It's like physical burnout.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like that's another thing though. It's like for some people it just makes you it I mean, for a lot of people, it's like I feel like other like religion in general, just like for a lot of people, it either just gives them just a straight up like explanation, oh, like they say, oh, God has a plan for everything.
Uh
And yeah, and then for some people, like when you actually want to know the answers and you go down this religion like rabbit hole,
mm,
like yeah, God knows like fucking how far it goes.
right. Yeah, even spirituality, like no religion involved, just spirituality is also a rabbit
Yeah,
hole,
just
bro.
spiritual, yeah. Yeah.
Because
It's
like
just this entire like looking, yeah, or just the straight up like looking for the true like just meaning of true enlightenment. Like, yeah,
mm,
it's really when you yeah.
like they'll say like enlightenment is kind of like happiness, like that like the more you seek it, the more that you forget that it's already here. So the more you're seeking it, the more you always think like, oh no, it's out there somewhere. I'm gonna go find it, but you forget that it's right here. And even
I've always
dude,
my
I have to keep
yeah.
snapping out of that because I'll be looking for happiness too. Like it's like even after all this spiritual like research and inner work that I did, like my mind is still wants to go into this autopilot mode of seeking happiness, and I have to keep snapping out of it like over and over again.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because yeah, I've been giving this some thought. Like also, like I feel like that's like a big issue with just maybe just the way society has conditioned us like over the years. But I feel like the big thing is that we do like whenever we feel like strong emotion, like a part of us does feel to like like seek that like a constant state of that emotion, and I feel like
Mm,
that is what inhibits like let that true happiness. Because like for me, like I've found that I think like definition of true happiness, and ultimately like I've always yeah, I guess I've always really ultimately seen enlightenment as being like, yeah, just true happiness, true peace, like inner peace, inner happiness.
Mm,
For me, that it does start with just self-love and self-acceptance, and like
right.
I think a big part of that is learning to, like ultimately manage those emotions, and just way that you just take your emotions as they come. Like we have to stop living in this living with this mentality that like, oh, like we need to find we need to find this happiness, and if we don't get this happiness, then we just get immediately like just depressed and like
Mm,
worried that we haven't found it. Like really ultimately it's just, again, another cliche, it's just living in the moment, living in the present. Like
exactly.
that's what it is. Like just, obviously keep the future in mind. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
know that it's there, but just like stop living in extremes. This is actually something my dad told me a few weeks ago, and only just
Mm,
like last week I really realized like how much truth there was what to it. Like people do they do want to live in extremes, like they want to feel that constant happiness, constant joy. When they don't feel it,
dude,
they get down, depressed until they reach that state of happiness again.
that sounds like addiction, man.
Very good way to put it. Like people are addicted to their emotions. Very good fucking way of putting it, bro.
Dang, I was gonna say something. Yeah, this is like super relevant to me right now. Yeah, because like in my mind, like it thinks like yeah, right, like happiness and pleasure should be two different categories, right?
But they should be two different categories, and the
Yeah.
problem is people like meld them into one. Like one category, they think pleasure is happiness, and that was me for so fucking long, bro.
Same.
Like
Me too.
so long. Yeah,
So then the
yeah.
question is then what is happiness then?
Happiness is just yeah, really like, because yeah, like you really have to iron out like
Or
I
like
feel like happiness is feeling content being in the present moment.
nice, nice. Because I was gonna ask you, like, do you think there's a connection between gratitude and happiness?
Absolutely, bro. Like count the fucking cliche, bro. They keep coming. Like
Yep.
you got to count your blessings. Count your fucking blessings, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, and like I've tried to like hack that. Like I've tried to be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything, thank you, without actually being genuinely thankful. Like I've just said the words, thank you, thank you, thank you, expecting to be happy, but it doesn't work. You have to be you have to be genuinely grateful.
yeah, yeah. But no, but bro, like I feel like even though I feel like now, like I feel like more or less I found this state of true happiness within myself. I still feel like, that's counting my blessings. That's still something I really got to that's
Mm,
something that will even like impulse like this mentality I'm having even further, because that's something I've never done enough in my life. And like I've just, it's never really occurred to me to really just be thankful, like be,
mm,
and just from the first thing, just like be, I'm what right now what I'm trying to be thankful for mostly is simply the fact that I'm alive, and I'm alive, that I
mm.
have I have the amenities that I have. I have a
Yeah,
roof over my head. I have food, like um yeah. So,
right. Like
and
I
I,
should.
yeah, with that you start, yeah, you just start being grateful, like for pretty much anything that comes your way in life.
Right, like just being alive is so trippy. Like we're on this giant rock in space, like just rotating around the sun and stuff. Like I should be grateful that I'm even experiencing this random trip right now.
Yeah, right, because we're a speck on a speck.
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah,
are. Yeah, but we got this light. Like God knows how far you would have, how many light years you would have to travel to find to find life as intelligent as life on Earth.
right. And we've been looking, and supposedly we haven't found it yet. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you think about Yeah, like so like we're always trying they say we should be present, like be in the moment. Like what is the things that is pulling us out of the moment?
Um, so first thing that comes to mind is we were actually talking just recently talking about it is pleasures. I think like pleasure is
Mm,
one big thing. Like we're looking for pleasures. We think pleasures are going to give us happiness, and that's what we're constantly looking for. What we should be doing is just experiencing like happiness in well, in the present moment would be being in the activities like we're doing, like and um uh, uh, yeah, I mean I think yeah, so pleasures is one thing. I think another one thing that probably really just pulls us out of this present moment is I think a big issue is that we just uh, it's just the conditioning from society has just fucked us up royally mentally, and because of that it's
mm,
just led to a lot of insecurities. And those insecurities lead to us like overthinking big fucking thing also, like,
mm,
and that leads us to overthinking and worrying about like, oh, like I haven't met the right person yet. I haven't I don't have the career I want. I'm not happy in my career.
mm,
Um and it's those thoughts that are distracting you. Those are literally building a wall like in our brains, like from really truly like seeing what's important,
mm,
which is just being happy living life and just experiencing life in any mundane activity, like
mm,
even an activity where you're like where you're you're putting in like physical effort, instead of like thinking, oh, I have to do this. I'm actually thinking back to actually a tip like my therapist gave me,
mm.
that's literally instead of saying like, oh, I have to do this, why not saying that? Why not say to your head like, oh, I want to do this because once I
Sure.
do this, I'll
Right.
have a clean apartment. Once I
Mm.
cook, like I'll have a delicious meal.
Right, right.
So really it's ultimately it's those mentalities, the our our desires for just constant pleasure,
Mm,
our our expectations for what we think is a happy life, what society has made us think is going to
yeah.
be a happy life for us. All these things, all these mentalities that have been a condition from society have just have just really just programmed all our minds. um
Yeah.
and because of this reprogramming, that in essence I think is what has like pulled us out of really of just this mentality that of being in the present moment, being happy, just living
Mm.
life. And so really I think the solution really is just like through a lifestyle change or whatever, like we just have to reprogram or deprogram I
Mm.
guess
True.
our brains. Fortunately, like through a lot of I think a big help for me was was just a lot of therapy. Like
Mm.
I actually saw like two different people that were both like well versed, and my I guess the current therapist that I'm seeing is also like versed in neuro linguistic programming. I think that's
Nice.
something, yeah, that's something a lot of people need to do. Yeah, it's an area that needs to be looked into way more because
True.
it helped me so much, because that literally what it is just like help to reprogram your brain.
Sick.
Obviously, that, yeah, yeah, but obviously now that methods like that therapy is not enough. Ultimately, you do have to put in the work yourself. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Those apps are
one
not
more
gonna.
cliche.
Yeah.
One more cliche. No, yeah, no one's gonna change you but you. Like, yeah,
Yeah, no one's gonna uninstall
you
those
gotta make the
conditionings
change
but
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, you gotta be open to it. Yeah, you gotta want to change. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Yeah, ultimately it is that. It takes work. It takes a realization that you really want this, and it's gonna take work
Yeah,
to decondition yourself. But I can tell you, honestly,
it's worth it. It's worth it.
it's worth it. It's so fucking worth it. Yeah.
Dude, I think it was 2021 or 2022. I went back to Virginia after 3.5 years of being in Vietnam. And so in Vietnam, it's kind of like Peru that everyone is trying to get to America, right? Like it's like everyone's dream is to go to America one day. Okay, so like I go back home to visit my family in Virginia. I go to Costco, and the first thing I see in Costco is this big banner that has like a picture of a sunset in some island, and it says, "Don't you wish you were here?" And then I was like, "Wait, I just got to Virginia. Now this thing is telling me like, don't I wish I was somewhere else?" Like, and then like it made me think like all of these like marketing techniques and advertisements, they're trying to trigger insecurities in us to consume their products. Like every single ad is trying to trigger some kind of insecurity in me. That's the
Bro.
purpose.
And bro, and you know what? Like just with what you fucking said, and I honestly I didn't realize before, like when we were discussing this, but another probably one of the biggest fucking reasons that has driven us to that mentality in these past 10 years is fucking social media, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like it's made it even bigger than it already was.
because yeah, you're literally it's plastering you with just pictures of just like essentially what they're telling you a better life should be.
True,
Like,
true.
yeah, yeah. So, but really, like a better you just you can create and. I honestly like for the sake of this, it'd be nice if this were the last big cliche like of the session. But like the I this it's the biggest cliche that has actually latched onto my head because it's just one of the truest. Bro, perception is fucking reality.
Not right, right. Like
Like
what?
honestly, really all you need to really well, I mean it's not I guess not all you need, but the majority of what you need to have a better life, to experience a better life for
You're
yourself, it's in here. It's in here, man. Like,
yeah. It's just a different perspective, like right. It's just like the half full,
yeah.
half empty thing. It's like, oh
Yeah,
man, it's half
exactly.
empty, or like, yo, it's half full, man. Like it's the
Look at it
same
half,
level of
yeah.
water.
Look at it half full. Yeah, it's half full, bro. Half full. Oh my
But then somebody
God,
will say like,
it's
what do you mean? Look at it half full, Nick. That's so goddamn cheesy. Like,
yeah. But then why is it not cheesy to say it's half empty? Like that's what so many other
bro,
fucking people
it's like
say.
because
Like
playing the victim is so fun, dude. Like playing the victim is like, man, like my life would be so much better if it wasn't for whatever that is. Like it's their fault. Like it's their fault why I'm not happy right now. That's so
that's a
easy
good
to
point.
say.
That's another good thing. We have to lose this victim mindset. Like so many people just victimize, find not just victimize themselves, but when they don't have any like genuine fucking traumas, they just find reasons in life to victimize
Mm.
themselves. And
And they'll
like
tell you like
it's just yeah.
they'll say like, man, they really screwed my life over and yours too. You should also feel like me. Like let's complain together.
So you know what? It's yeah, because for a while, and I was like this for so long. Um, I was one of these people where I feel like it's it's this mentality where it's like it's just a lot of people just only feeling like oh like just complaining, victimizing yourself. Oh, it made you like it did make you a more like in tune, like woke, like just smarter person, dude. Like and so and in that like I guess that mentality, it's like it almost felt like good to complain and
Right.
like just hate and like and yeah.